We all know the saying, history is written by the victors. It's a story we learn in school, a straightforward tale of good versus evil, of battles won and lost. We know about Pearl Harbor, D-Day, and the fall of Berlin. But that's not the whole story. It's not even the most interesting part. What if I told you that beneath the surface of the world's greatest conflict lie secrets so bizarre, they were deliberately left out of your history books? So forget what you learned in class. We're about to explore the strangest plots and most incredible conspiracies of the Second World War. We're talking about a phantom army of artists that completely fooled the German military, a top-secret American experiment that supposedly made a warship vanish into thin air, and a mythical Nazi superweapon that some still believe could manipulate time itself. These stories will make you question everything you thought you knew about World War II. Let's start with a story that feels like it was ripped straight from a Hollywood script, but is absolutely true. Picture this. You're a soldier on the front lines in France just weeks after D-Day. You look across a field and see an entire American armored division getting ready to attack. Tanks are lined up, artillery is in place, and thousands of troops are mobilizing. But what if it was all a high-tech mirage? This was the work of the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, better known as the Ghost Army. This top-secret unit was unlike any other in the U.S. military. It was made up of just 1,100 men, not commandos but artists, designers, and sound engineers, many recruited from art schools in New York and Philadelphia. Their mission wasn't to fight, but to deceive. Using a wild combination of inflatable rubber tanks, powerful sound trucks blasting recordings of troop movements, and fake radio chatter, they could create the illusion of a massive military force, sometimes appearing as a full division of 30,000 men. Their entire job was to be masters of misdirection. The Ghost Army staged more than 20 battlefield deceptions, often operating dangerously close to the front lines. They'd set up their inflatable tanks, making them just visible enough for German reconnaissance to spot. Meanwhile, their sonic division would broadcast the sounds of an army on the move, and radio operators would transmit carefully scripted messages to fool German intelligence. Their deceptions were so effective they are credited with saving thousands of Allied lives. In one of their most important missions, they drew German forces away from a critical Rhine River crossing, allowing American troops to advance with far fewer casualties. For nearly 50 years after the war, their mission remained classified and the soldiers of the Ghost Army were sworn to secrecy. It's a stunning reminder that sometimes the most powerful weapon in war isn't a bomb or a bullet, but a brilliant idea. Alright, from a mission that was 100% real, we're now diving into something much weirder. As the Third Reich crumbled, tales began to emerge of Wunderwaffen, or wonder weapons, advanced technologies that Hitler was convinced could turn the tide of the war. While some, like the V-2 rocket, were terrifyingly real, others have become the stuff of pure legend. And none is more bizarre than Die Glocke, or the bell. According to the theory, Die Glocke was a top-secret Nazi device, shaped like a large metallic bell, about 9 feet wide and 12 feet high. The legend really took off in the 2000s, thanks to Polish author Igor Witkowski, who claimed he'd seen classified documents detailing the project. The story goes that the device was being tested in a secret facility in Silesia, near the Czech border. Inside the bell were supposedly 2 counter-rotating cylinders filled with a violet, mercury-like substance codenamed 0525. When fired up, it was said to consume a shocking amount of electricity and glow with a pale blue light. The wildest claims suggest Die Glocke had anti-gravity powers or could even bend space and time. The theories assert that any living thing caught in its radius, from plants to animals, would rapidly decompose into a black goo. Several of the project's scientists are said to have died during these tests. As the war ended, the story goes, the SS evacuated the bell and its lead scientist, General Hans Kammler, to parts unknown. The other 60 scientists who worked on the project were allegedly executed by the SS to keep its secrets. Now let's be clear, no physical proof of Die Glocke has ever been found. Mainstream historians and scientists widely consider the story a hoax, probably born from a mix of post-war myths about Nazi superscience and old sci-fi rumors. And yet the legend persists. Some connect it to Nazi UFOs or a secret base in Antarctica. Others even point to a strange Stonehenge-like concrete ruin near the old test site as the rig built to hold the bell. Fact or fiction, Die Glocke remains one of the most fascinating conspiracies of the war, fueled by the myth of Nazi technology that continues to capture our imagination. The Nazis weren't the only ones rumored to be messing with the laws of physics. One of the most famous and chilling conspiracies of the war actually comes from the Allied side, the Philadelphia experiment. The story alleges that around October 28, 1943, the U.S. Navy ran a secret test on the destroyer escort USS Eldridge at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. The goal? To make the ship completely invisible to enemy radar, which would have been a total game-changer in naval warfare. But according to the legend, something went terribly wrong. The tale, which first surfaced in the 1950s from a man named Carl M. Allen, claims that witnesses saw a strange, greenish-blue glow envelop the ship as its generators powered up. Then, the USS Eldridge vanished, not just from radar but from sight. But it didn't just become invisible. The story claims the ship was teleported over 200 miles away to Norfolk, Virginia, where it was spotted for a few minutes before disappearing again and reappearing back in Philadelphia. The supposed side effects on the crew were horrific. The legend speaks of sailors going insane, developing strange illnesses, or even being fused to the metal bulkheads of the ship itself. These grotesque details fueled the belief that the Navy had stumbled upon something beyond its control and immediately classified the whole thing. So is any of it true? The U.S. Navy has consistently and flatly denied that any such experiment ever happened. In fact, ship logs show the USS Eldridge wasn't even in Philadelphia on the day the experiment supposedly took place. Researchers believe the story probably grew out of a misunderstanding of real but far less dramatic experiments. During the war, ships were often wrapped in cables for a process called degaussing, which neutralized their magnetic signature to protect them from magnetic torpedoes. It's possible the greenish glow was just a weather event like St. Elmo's fire, a common electrical discharge at sea. Despite the official denials and a total lack of credible evidence, the Philadelphia experiment has become an iconic piece of military folklore. It's a chilling tale that mixes the reality of wartime ambition with our deepest fears of science run amok. Of all the conspiracies to come out of World War II, this might be the most persistent. The idea that Adolf Hitler did not die in his Berlin bunker. The official history is clear. On April 30th, 1945, with Soviet troops closing in, Hitler committed suicide alongside Eva Braun. And yet, for decades, rumors have insisted that this was all the greatest disappearing act of all time. The theory goes that Hitler faked his death and escaped Germany, eventually finding refuge in South America, usually Argentina. This wasn't just some fringe belief either. It was originally fueled by the Soviets. Just after the war, Soviet Marshal Georgy Zhukov announced that Hitler's fate was a mystery, planting seeds of doubt that would grow for years. The fact that many high-ranking Nazis like Adolf Eichmann really did escape to Argentina using rat lines gave the theory an air of plausibility. Over the years, alleged sightings of Hitler were reported all over the world. The FBI even opened files to investigate some of these claims, though they never found any real evidence. Books and TV shows have presented so-called evidence, from blurry photos to shaky testimony, claiming Hitler lived out his days peacefully in the Andes and even had children. However, the overwhelming majority of historians and experts have dismissed these claims. Eyewitness accounts from people inside the bunker during Hitler's final days have been corroborated for decades, and more recently, a 2018 study by French researchers analyzed fragments of teeth and a skull held in Moscow, recovered from the bunker site in 1945. The analysis confirmed the teeth belonged to Hitler and showed damage consistent with both a gunshot and cyanide poisoning, solidly debunking the escape theories. Still, the myth of Hitler's escape endures. It speaks to our fascination with a more sensational ending, and maybe a refusal to believe that one of history's greatest monsters could have met such a mundane, self-inflicted end. So, from a real-life army of artists to a mythical time-bending bell, it's clear the official history of World War II is only part of the story. The line between fact and fiction can often blur, leaving us with tantalizing questions that might never be fully answered. What do you think? Is Die Glocke still hidden in some secret bunker? Or are these just stories born from the chaos and fog of war? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed uncovering these hidden histories, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into the unexplained.